What's poppin', everybody? This is the Satrix Money School podcast, where we turn complex money ideas into clear, practical lessons that you guys can use on a daily basis. I'm your host. My name is Karabo, and each episode I'll be sitting down with South Africans who have walked the talk, entrepreneurs, investors, creators who'll be sharing their real money decisions, their stories on how they made their money decisions, and ultimately what worked, what didn't work, but also looking into what they would have done differently. All right, so today we're going to be speaking about tech and finance. First and foremost, give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Satrix. Own the market. They're all about making investments smart and simple. And they also understand the complexities of investment, hence why they strive to make the platform easy and simple for you guys. So give a shout out to Satrix.
In a world where investments were expensive and out of reach for most, Satrix followed the rhythm of its own drumbeat. In the year 2000, Satrix introduced index tracking to South Africa. Since then, we have made investing accessible to everyone. Through low fees and no minimum investments, we give all South Africans the chance to own the market. Our range of investment products offer diverse access to strategies and asset classes across local and international markets for any stage of your life. We've kept in tempo with our community, winning the Salter People's Choice Award for the last 7 consecutive years. Our cost-effective and award-winning products offer value to individuals and institutions alike. Satrix has managed index tracking funds for institutional clients since 2000. From ETFs and unit trusts to life pooled and segregated portfolios, to meet the different needs of clients, pension fund members, and organizations. By driving the global cadence of indexation, our bespoke solutions have contributed to Satrix holding the largest market share in the South African ETF industry. And we're expanding our African footprint. At Satrix, indexation is anything but passive. We stand proudly as the drumbeat of possibility. Satrix, own the market.
All right, awesome. Welcome back, everybody. I'm joined in studio by the incredible Rene Basson. We're going to speak about how not to get lost in the hype online. And she is the head of marketing and brand, or the brand marketing. Rene, first and foremost, how are you?
Very nice to be here. Thank you very much, Karabo.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. You are part of Satrix. You've been there for, let's say, 4 years, right?
4 years, yes.
First and foremost, let's speak about your journey. Let's not really go back, but let's speak about how things been at Satrix, in terms of brand and marketing for you.
It's been an incredible journey. It's been very busy. There's no days the same, quite frankly, which keeps us all on our toes. And we're always, I love my job and I enjoy every day that I'm there. Have a great team and everyone's very supportive. So yeah, it's been amazing.
I like that. What's one of the most, let's say, important thing that you've learned in the 4 years that you've been in at Satrix?
If I'm very honest with you, it's the basics about investing. You kind of think that someone working for a company like Satrix might know everything.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
I certainly don't.
Yeah.
Every single day I'm learning from colleagues and people in the industry. So.
I like the conversation that I had with Sia. He mentioned, back when he started investing was a different story to where he currently is now within investing. So that speaks on, the journey that he's also been with investing. So I think, when we talk a lot about starting where you are, that's the most important thing. And I know for sure that the audience throughout the course of, the people that we've brought on the studio have really got some form of knowledge on that. All right. So we're joined by a lot of, young people who are, also in their journey of finding themselves, right? And I know for sure that this program, it's so important, not just from a perspective of financial literacy on money and also what to do with it, but also, understanding that you are in a space where you are given so much information that can help you know how to use the money, but also to also find yourself in life. Do you have a journey that you want to share on how you became the woman that you are today, also working from a powerful brand like Satrix?
I think for all the young people watching or listening, I think the first thing is to don't be hard on yourself. You can't figure stuff out immediately. I still feel like I don't really know kind of where I want to be.
Even now?
Even now, I
Wow.
think every day, like, is this, you know, what do I want in 5 to 10 years' time?
Yeah.
But then you take a step back and you think, actually, I really love what I do. I think don't expect everything to fall into place immediately. You're constantly learning and things change. And I think when it comes to careers, also there's a little bit of luck involved. You've got to be open to, you know, something jumping into your path and then just grabbing it with both hands. But I'd say, you know, don't think you have to have it all figured out as soon as you finish school, because you don't. And even 20 years later, you might still be trying to figure it out.
I like that. So your journey, right? Did you always know from a young age that you always wanted to be in this line of work that you are currently at? Or along the line, I mean, for sure, you're speaking about luck and opportunity. Is there anything that you want to share from that perspective?
I had no idea what I wanted to do. At one point, I wanted to be an archaeologist and dig up dinosaurs, quite frankly. So clearly, that's not what I'm doing. I didn't understand the various types of degrees back in the day when I had to choose what I wanted to study. And my dad had a master's in chemical engineering, so super smart guy.
Wow.
And he just said to me, just sign up, go to university, start and do the first year. And if that's not what you like, once you're in, you can change.
That's beautiful.
And I think that was really amazing advice. So in my first year university, I realized I really love the psychology behind marketing. I love the business part of the degree, the BCom. So I kind of fell into it and stuck with it. And then, you know, straight after university, I went overseas. I was lucky enough to be able to go travel and work in a marketing role. And as I think I was chatting to you earlier, I started working in golf. So marketing for a golf company, which was really different to what I'm doing now, but it was an amazing journey. And like I said, I didn't have it all figured out. I had no idea, and I kind of fell into it. And it's worked out for me. I've been lucky.
I like that. You know, besides, you know, luck, it's also, you know, putting yourself in a space where you allow opportunities to find you, right? And that's what you did. So also, a lot of young people that are watching, don't be afraid, you know, to put yourself out there. You know, you can't always stay locked up in your own zone or your own room and expecting, you know, opportunity to find you. You also have to connect and, you know, allow those pieces to fall. And that's what you did, which is amazing. All right, cool. So we're going to be talking about how not to get lost in the hype online. But before we get to that, I ask everybody, right, what first comes to mind when you hear about financial literacy in your own perspective?
Financial literacy is, I think, for me, understanding the fundamentals around the financial services industry and the various products that you can have access to. I think it's, learning about it, understanding it, or at least trying to understand it. So for me, I think financial literacy is very important. And I'm not sure I really had that much financial knowledge back when I was at school. And I think this program is really amazing to help young people understand more.
So you also, okay, just to go back. So you also didn't come from a background where, you know, mom, dad, or grandparents were able to, you know, teach you the importance of money. Was that not, you know?
We never really spoke about money. So
I like that, because a lot of times we think it's oftentimes people of color who are fortunate not to have these conversations. But you also never had such conversations.
We never really did. So my dad kind of managed the family's money, and my mom was a nurse and then stay-at-home mom, and then she started working again when I was young. So we never talked about it. My parents, I'm the youngest of 4, so we were a large family. Money was tight, so my mom and my dad were very good at managing budgets. So I grew up in an environment where, you know, I used to get hand-me-downs from my sisters and my brother. Very careful.
Just being the last one, things get passed down. And you're so grateful at that time.
I mean, my mom used to have a box of clothing that I used to every season change. And as I was growing, she'd be like, come, let's go. And it was like I went shopping. It was very exciting. So it taught me the value of things. So I think that environment was really positive. But we never talked about investing or... I think I had a savings account, but, you know, my dad was quite strict with that kind of stuff. And I was very sporty, so I never really had time to do anything except go to my sport.
Do you think such conversations as, you know, not just to do with money, but investing, you know, savings, do you think because we didn't have those conversations, but also our parents didn't even know about investing. Do you think your father really knew what investing was? Was he investing back then?
I think he was.
Oh, you just didn't want to just share
He was
the
just.
nuggets.
He probably didn't think it was something that children should learn about. Maybe back then.
Yeah.
You know, my parents are of a much older generation, so I think maybe generationally the way children are brought up has changed, and I think that's also quite a nice thing, because I think parents are far more open to involving their children in stuff from a much younger age.
Yeah.
Whereas I think when I was that age, when I was like a teenager, 12, 13 years old, that wasn't really the done thing. So maybe that's just a shift in the cultural upbringing of children, which I think is positive.
I mean, we're speaking about online now. Obviously, that has to do with, you know, the power of social media, internet, and we have access to that. So I think our kids nowadays have access to that, but you also want to be in a space where you're able to give the information that they need, not just rely so much on the technology. Okay, cool. So we're going to be speaking a lot about, you know, the hype online, right? But first and foremost, why is online investing, you know, so addictive? And also, why could it be misleading at the same time?
There's a couple of reasons why it's addictive. So firstly, it's a dopamine hit. So if you think about social media, it's a little bit like gambling, and I'm hoping none of the listeners are old enough to have been into a casino, but it's that loop that you get into because you keep wanting to get that high again, almost, or that nice feeling that you watch something. If you think about the headlines we expose to quite often, you know, what stocks must we buy today, or how I've made R1 million in 2 weeks. So it's like this almost like constant, like, you know, you're looking for that information, and it's exciting, right? So the dopamine hit. Then there's it can feel empowering to you. So if you are trying to take control of your financial situation, or you want to learn how to budget or whatever, even looking at any information online makes you feel like you're doing research. So it gives you that sense of achievement and empowerment, right? Which is not necessarily a bad thing. Then I would say FOMO is a big thing. So when you watch all these bits of information online, you feel like these people are doing something that I'm not doing, I'm missing out. When in reality, you're probably not missing out, right? Then influencers also use hooks, okay? They're not only investors, they're also very good marketers. And from a marketing perspective, marketing uses a lot of psychology. There's scarcity. So I'm not sharing this with a lot of people. This is very like secret information, right? Scarcity is important. There's this sense of urgency. You need to make a decision quickly. So that's pushing you, you're right. You want to be in it. And then the other part of it is authority. So like I used to be an investment banker, for example. So you feel like this person or the individual has got this information that you don't necessarily have. So those things are clever hooks that keep you wanting to watch more. Okay. And then there's the other one, the final one is around this dream that we all have about getting rich quickly or winning the lottery. And that's human nature. We all want that. We all dream about that, right? So it keeps you in that loop and you keep going back to it. And that's why it could be misleading, but it drives you because you keep, it gives you a little bit of hope. It makes you feel like you're achieving something. It's all those things wrapped up into one.
And I know that, you know, we've shared, or a lot of speakers that came on the platform shared a lot about, you know, being responsible and disciplined, especially in the line of, you know, if you invest, you have to have the patience to just leave the money there. But also sharing with what you're sharing now about, you know, what can draw, you know, a lot of people in this cycle, this loophole. What are some of the ways that they can not, you know, put themselves into that space?
So do you mean like what are the things to look out for?
No, like what can they not do to fall into that trap?
Oh, okay. So I think there's a couple of things you can do. You can first take a step back. And I think my colleagues like Lauren and Sia spoke about having a plan and understanding what you want to do. What are your goals when it comes to saving and investing? And if you have goals in place, that gives you guardrails so that you don't veer off, you know, and you get caught up in the hype. I think it's kind of removing yourself from the social media, firstly. If you are getting caught up in the hype, is to maybe tone down on watching influencers, for example. Going back to the basics, start looking at financial services providers like your bank, for example, or providers like Satrix or Easy Equities that provides a lot of information online, and it's verified and it's trustworthy. So I think it comes down to a little bit of self-control. And I know that's difficult.
Yeah.
Especially when,
especially when money's involved.
Especially when money, and money is very personal.
Yeah.
People get, it's one of the few things that I think people really struggle to talk about, and it is very heartbreaking when you do lose money, for example, or when you do get caught up into something that makes you lose money.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of self-control. It's also learning and understanding what you're looking at and doing the homework, and then taking a step back and actually removing yourself from a situation. I think that, as hard as it might be, sometimes taking a break from social media is sometimes a good thing.
I like that. I like that because it's always easy to pinpoint, what are some of, the things that can be misleading, but also just to give a little bit of a point on how can they actually utilize some pointers to help them not fall into those traps.
Yeah.
So in your line of work, in your experience, what are some of the red flags that you've seen that scream out hype? And how can investors spot these red flags?
There's a few, and I think when you have educated yourself and you learn a bit more, it is quite easy to identify the red flags. So one of the things is using a lot of buzzwords in the content, for example, things that are trending currently. If they're using a lot of jargon, they're selling you jargon, they're not selling you value. Okay. Then there's
so for people that for the young people that are watching, jargons are like big words.
Big words like, to quote a couple at the moment, blockchain, AI. AI is a buzzword at the moment. That kind of stuff. So it's a kind of a trending word.
Yeah.
Hashtags, for example. Then one of the biggest things is the promise of quick returns or profits or guaranteed returns. When it comes to investing, unfortunately, guaranteed returns is not a reality. That is the nature of investing. So if you are seeing information that promises you these types of returns, it's not real. Okay, so that's a big red flag. I would say, sometimes when there's celebrities endorsing something, that could also be, not always, because a lot of brands do use endorsements, but just be a little bit more cautious around it. High pressure tactics. I think I mentioned earlier, if you're told that you need to make a decision really quickly, you've only got 24 hours to do this, that is a red flag. Stay away from it. Most certainly. With investing, you shouldn't have to make those decisions that quickly. If you're not comfortable with your decision, don't do it. Trust your gut. Firstly, I think it's a very important thing to remember. And then if you can't verify the claims that someone's making, that is also a red flag. So genuinely, a company or an individual, if you can't find information online about them, you can't verify what they're saying, stay away from it. So those are, once you start picking up patterns. They're definitely patterns.
I like that. Yeah. And within this environment of, online and the hype, how do ETFs and, index investing offer a much more calmer or grounded alternative? And also specify what exactly is an index investing.
Great. So let me explain the two. So index investing and ETFs. So in the investment industry, there are kind of two areas of schools of thought, or maybe not schools of thoughts, but way of investing. There's index investing or passive. It's also known as passive investing. And then there's active investing. So in this case, index investing is the type of investing where you take a fund, for example, that tracks an index. And the purpose of it is that it's not trying to beat the market. It wants to replicate the performance of that index. And it is more systematic, it's rules-based, okay? Which is why it probably gives you more grounded, calmer type of investing, particularly for new or novice investors, okay? ETF, so an ETF is an exchange-traded fund. So if you look at the JSE, let's look at the top 40 companies on the JSE. If you wanted to invest and buy one share of each of those companies, you would have to do 40 investments and buy 40 different shares, and it will cost you a fortune. With an ETF, it's basically a basket of shares. So you can, with one transaction, you can buy a basket of all those shares, and they're fractionalized shares, and the cost is much, much lower. Okay. So an ETF, an ETF tracks an index like the JSE Top 40 or the S&P 500, for example. And ETFs are generally better for beginners and novice investors because they are highly regulated. So our Financial Services Conduct Authority, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, they regulate our financial services really, really well in South Africa. ETFs are listed on the JSE. They are generally low cost. They're built for long term, and they're easily accessible through platforms like Satrix now, or even Easy Equities. So for someone who's wanting to start investing, it's a great place to start.
Awesome, awesome. And I know for sure that when we speak about hype online, there's oftentimes a whole lot of trends that you've actually shared on, some of the madness that happens online. But how can, people protect themselves from, such trends that'll help them make, or that will allow them to make the mistakes, in the long run?
Yeah. So I think I spoke to it earlier. It's around taking a step back and going back to the basics. So removing yourself from the social media and the hype that you're seeing, because I think that it does. I mean, we're human. We get caught up in that stuff. So try and take a step back from that. Go back to the reputable brands that you know that will provide that information. Go to your bank's website, the FSCA, the JSE, Satrix, for example. Then learn about the basics. Go back to the fundamentals. Learn about the different types of investment vehicles, like an ETF. The other one that you could look at is a unit trust, for example. Then learn about compounding interest. And take it on step by step, like bite-sized pieces. Don't expect yourself to learn it all overnight, because that's overwhelming. So be kind to yourself. Make sure that you take it step by step, and don't expect to do it overnight. And the best part about when you start learning about this stuff, you start building your confidence, you start understanding things better, you start being able to identify when something is hype and when something is not legitimate, because you have the knowledge. And that's where your financial confidence really starts. And I think it's really important for all young people to really start learning and take it slowly, and don't feel pressure to know everything overnight.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Renee, thank you so much
nice
for your time to obviously come here in your busy schedule to just share some nuggets. And I hope all the viewers found this session engaging. Thank you so much.
Lovely to meet you.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so that's Rene Basson, the head of brand and marketing over at Satrix. Speaking about how to get lost in the hype on, social media online. And I know for sure a lot of us are always on our phones and our devices, getting lost in the hype. So I hope this session was able to give you guys some guidance on not to get lost in that hype. I am Karabo. See you guys soon. Speaking about tech and finance, hope you guys found this lesson informative as much as I have. Please don't forget to head out to social media and hashtag Satrix Money School Podcast. I'm your host. My name is Karabo Mahula. See you guys next time. Peace.